The moment we've all been waiting for finally happened. Belly made her choice. After a season filled with heartbreak, late-night confessions, and endless back-and-forth between Conrad and Jeremiah, Episode 8 gave us the answer fans have been debating since the very beginning. But Belly's decision isn't just about love, it's about who she's becoming and how this choice will change everything moving forward. And buried inside this finale are small details you might have missed, hints about where Season 4 is headed, and how the story of Cousins Beach is far from over. Episode 8 of the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 is not just a finale, it's the emotional peak of everything that's been building since the start of the season. Right from the opening moments, the tension is heavy. Belly stands caught between the two brothers, the weight of her feelings pressing harder than ever. Every glance, every pause in her voice carries meaning, because this is the moment she finally has to stop running and make a choice. Throughout the season, we've watched Belly torn between her past and her future. With Conrad, there's history, first love, and a kind of unshakable connection that feels written in the stars. But with Jeremiah, there's warmth, steadiness, and a promise of something new, something easier, but no less real. The finale sets the stage by reminding us just how much is at stake for her, not only in her love life, but in her journey of self-discovery. One of the most striking things about this episode is how it doesn't just focus on romance. Instead, it ties every moment back to the larger theme of family. Susanna's presence lingers like a soft echo throughout the story. Even though she's gone, her memory shapes every decision these characters make. You can feel her in the beach house walls, in the way the boys argue, and even in the way Belly pauses before speaking. It's as if the whole finale is reminding us that the story began with Susanna, and in many ways, it's still about her. The beach house itself becomes a silent character here. It's not just a setting, it's the place where all the memories live, the laughter, the heartbreak, the first kisses, and the painful goodbyes. When the characters move through its rooms in this episode, you can almost feel the flashbacks pressing against the walls. The house represents not only what they've lost, but also what they're desperately trying to hold on to. And Belly, caught between her two worlds, has to decide if she's ready to step into adulthood or cling to the past. We also see the brothers in their raw states. Conrad is more vulnerable than ever, his defenses stripped down by grief and love colliding. Jeremiah, on the other hand, is finally stepping out of his brother's shadow. He's more confident, more willing to voice his feelings instead of hiding them. Both of them want Belly, but what the episode does so well is show us that it's not just about who she chooses, it's about what kind of future she wants for herself. And of course, there are moments of tension that feel like they're leading up to something explosive. Silent stares between Conrad and Jeremiah, Belly's hesitation when she's asked to finally be clear about her feelings, and the way other characters like Stephen and Laurel hover in the background, quietly shaping the story. Laurel's advice to Belly in particular hits hard. It's not just about picking a boy, it's about knowing herself, about stepping into womanhood with clarity and courage. The recap of Episode 8 isn't just a series of events, it's the culmination of everything this season has been building toward. Every storyline ties back to the central conflict of love, loss, and growing up. Belly can't avoid it anymore. She has to speak her truth, and when she does, it doesn't just answer the love triangle question, it changes the dynamic of Cousins Beach forever. The way the episode is structured keeps viewers hooked until the final minutes. Each scene feels like it's pulling us closer to that one inevitable moment. There's no filler here, just pure emotional storytelling. From quiet conversations on the porch to heated arguments under the weight of family history, the finale grips us by reminding us that summer's end choices matter, and nothing can stay the same forever. That's what makes Episode 8 so powerful. It's not just about Belly choosing Conrad or Jeremiah, it's about her finally growing into someone who can make a choice at all. And that's the turning point, the heartbeat of the finale, and the reason fans will be debating this episode long after the credits roll. Belly's decision is the moment fans have been waiting for, the one that has been teased since the very beginning of the series. Episode 8 builds to this choice with a quiet intensity, showing us that it's not just about who she loves more, it's about who she wants to become. The way the scene unfolds is tender, almost fragile, as if the writers wanted us to feel. Every hesitation, every breath she takes before finally speaking her truth. For most of the season, Belly has been pulled in two directions. With Conrad, there's this deep, almost haunting connection that comes from growing up together. He was her first love, her dream, the boy she thought she'd never truly have. That history is powerful, and episode 8 reminds us of it through flashbacks, small gestures, and the quiet way Conrad looks at her when she isn't paying attention. It's the kind of love that feels written in memory, like something carved into stone. But memory alone isn't enough to build a future. And that's where Jeremiah comes in. Jeremiah has been the opposite of Conrad in almost every way this season. He's open, warm, and unafraid to wear his heart on his sleeve. Where Conrad hides behind silence, Jeremiah speaks his truth out loud. Where Conrad pulls away, Jeremiah steps closer. Episode 8 makes that contrast clearer than ever. Belly isn't just choosing between two boys, she's choosing between two paths, one filled with the weight of the past, and one that promises lightness, hope, and something new. What makes Belly's decision so powerful is the way she finally takes control of her own story. For so long, she's been caught in the push and pull of the Fisher brothers' emotions. But in this finale, we see her finally stand firm, finally say what she wants instead of waiting for someone else to decide for her. It's a defining moment of growth. Whether you agree with her choice or not, it's impossible to deny that this is Belly's turning point. She steps into adulthood here not because she picks the right person, but because she finally chooses for herself. The emotional weight of her decision also lies in the reaction of the brothers. Conrad, with all his quiet intensity, is visibly shaken. You can almost see the walls crumbling around him, the heartbreak pressing in. Yet at the same time, there's a maturity in the way he handles it, an unspoken understanding that sometimes love means letting go. Jeremiah, on the other hand, carries the joy of being chosen, but also the awareness that this choice doesn't erase the pain between him and his brother. The finale doesn't pretend that Belly's decision magically fixes everything. Instead, it shows us the cracks in the Fisher family that will carry into the future. For fans, this moment is deeply polarizing. Team Conrad supporters feel the sting, pointing out the depth of his love and the way Belly has always dreamed of him. Team Jeremiah fans, however, see it as justice, a reward for the boy who has always been there, who has always made her feel safe and wanted. And that's what makes this finale so effective. The decision isn't black and white, and the audience is left to wrestle with the what-ifs right alongside the characters. Another layer that makes Belly's decision so meaningful is Susanna's influence. Even though she isn't physically present, her love, her hope for her boys, and her quiet bond with Belly echo in every scene. It's as if Belly's choice isn't only about who she loves now, but about honoring the kind of love Susanna always encouraged her to believe in. That invisible thread makes the moment feel even more emotional, almost sacred, like Susanna is still watching over them. In the end, what Belly chooses isn't just a boy, it's a version of herself. If she chooses Conrad, she chooses the girl who has always held onto her first love, the girl who dreams in memories. If she chooses Jeremiah, she chooses the girl who is ready to move forward, to risk something new, to embrace change. Either way, it's not only about romance, it's about growth, about deciding who she wants to be as she steps out of summer and into adulthood. This is why Belly's big decision hits so hard. It isn't the end of a love triangle, it's the beginning of her next chapter. And that's the brilliance of episode 8. The writers didn't just give us an answer. They gave us a moment that will shape everything to come. Whether fans agree with it or not, the choice is made. And it leaves us with the question, what does this mean for the future of Cousins Beach and the fragile bond between the Fisher brothers? While Belly's decision is the centerpiece of episode 8, the finale also works hard to give depth to the people around her. Every major character in the Samurai Turned Pretty is pushed into a moment of change, whether it's acceptance, heartbreak, or growth. That's what makes the episodes so layered. This isn't just Belly's story, it's everyone's. Let's start with Conrad. More than any other character, he carries the heaviest emotional weight. The finale reveals a side of him that fans have been waiting to see. His walls finally crack. For so long, Conrad has hidden behind silence, sarcasm, and avoidance. But episode 8 shows us the raw truth. He is deeply in love with Belly, yet terrified of losing her and, in a bigger sense, terrified of losing everyone he loves. His arc here isn't about winning Belly, it's about learning how to let go with grace. When she makes her decision, the pain in his eyes says everything. Yet, instead of lashing out, he chooses to step back. That moment of quiet acceptance, as heartbreaking as it is, marks his growth. He's no longer the boy who can't speak his feelings. He's the young man who understands that sometimes love means setting someone free. Then there's Jeremiah. His journey in this finale is about stepping into his own light. For much of the series, Jeremiah has been the other brother, the one who smiles easily, who hides his pain behind jokes, who lives in Conrad's shadow. But in season 3, and especially in episode 8, he comes into focus. The Jeremiah we see here is confident, vulnerable, and ready to fight for what he wants. When Belly chooses him, it isn't just a win in romance, it's a personal victory. For the first time, he isn't the backup option or the safety net. He's chosen for who he is, not for how easy he makes things. But the finale doesn't paint his happiness as simple. Jeremiah knows the cost of this decision, the way it reshapes his bond with Conrad. His smile carries weight, its joy mixed with the awareness that nothing will ever be the same between the Fisher brothers. Belly's own arc shines brightest here. Throughout the season, she's been criticized by both characters and fans for being indecisive, for wavering between Conrad and Jeremiah. But in the finale, all of that hesitation finally gives way to clarity. Belly grows into herself by choosing not just a boy, but a version of her future. Her arc is about empowerment, about realizing that she doesn't have to wait for someone else to define her happiness. For the first time, we see her act with full conviction. It's not the choice itself that defines her, but the fact that she made it on her own terms. That's the difference between the Belly of the early seasons and the Belly of episode 8. She isn't just a girl caught in a love triangle anymore. She's a young woman learning to stand on her own 2 feet, outside of the central trio. The supporting characters also get moments of growth that hint at where season 4 could go. Steven, for example, takes on a more protective, older brother role in this finale. His arc has often been about balancing humor and responsibility, but here we see him truly step up. He's not just comic relief, he's someone who wants to protect Belly from making a choice she regrets. And while he doesn't control her decision, his words leave a mark. His bond with Taylor also gets subtle development, adding a spark of lightness to the heavy emotional tone of the finale. Laurel's arc is quieter, but just as important. She has always been the grounding force of the show, and in episode 8, she embodies the voice of wisdom. Her scenes with Belly are some of the most emotional because Laurel understands that her daughter isn't just choosing between 2 boys, she's choosing her path into adulthood. Laurel doesn't tell Belly what to do. Instead, she reminds her that this decision has to be hers alone. That kind of support is what makes Laurel such a vital character. She guides without controlling, allowing Belly to step into her independence while still knowing her mother's love is steady. Even Taylor, though she isn't front and center, plays a role in reflecting Belly's growth. As Belly's closest friend, she represents a mirror of sorts, a reminder that love and growing up don't look the same for everyone. Taylor's playful energy contrasts with the heaviness of the love triangle, but she also highlights the importance of friendship in Belly's journey. By keeping Belly grounded, she ensures that the story doesn't spiral completely into romance and nothing else. Altogether, the finale shows us that this isn't just about one decision. It's about how every character is shaped by that decision. Conrad learns to let go, Jeremiah learns to embrace his worth, Belly learns to take control of her story, and the supporting cast reminds us that life doesn't revolve around romance alone, it's also about family, friendship, and identity. These arcs work together to give episode 8 its depth, making it more than just a romantic cliffhanger, and that's what makes this finale so rich. By the time the credits roll, every character feels different than they did at the start of the season. Some are heartbroken, some are hopeful, and some are still figuring out their place. But all of them have been pushed forward. It sets the stage for a new season where their relationships won't just reset, they'll evolve. And that evolution is exactly why Season 4 is already shaping up to be more complicated, more emotional, and more unpredictable than anything we've seen before. What makes the finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty so much more than just a teen love triangle is the way it's layered with themes and symbols. Beneath the surface of Belly's decision lies a story about change, loss, and the bittersweet passage of time. Episode 8 uses imagery, settings, and subtle callbacks to earlier seasons to remind us that this isn't just about romance, it's about growing up and the cost that comes with it. One of the clearest themes in this finale is the idea of summer as a metaphor for change. Summer has always been the heart of the story, those golden months when everything feels possible, when love is new and friendships feel unbreakable. But summer doesn't last forever. Episode 8 leans into this truth, showing us that just like the season itself, youth and innocence eventually give way to maturity and responsibility. Belly's decision isn't just about which boy she loves, it's about the end of her childhood summers and the start of her adulthood. The warm glow of Cousins Beach feels almost like a farewell, a reminder that no matter how magical a summer is, it must eventually come to an end. Closely tied to this is the symbolism of the beach house. From the very first episode of the series, the house has been a central figure in the story, almost like another character. It's where Susanna's laughter echoed, where Belly's crush on Conrad first bloomed, where the Fisher family created memories that defined their lives. In the finale, every scene in the house feels heavy with memory. The walls themselves carry the weight of the past, reminding us of what's been lost and what still lingers. When the characters move through its rooms, it's as though they're walking through a scrapbook of summers gone by. The house symbolizes both comfort and change. It's the anchor holding them together, but also a fragile relic of a life they can't get back. Whether or not the house will remain in Season 4 becomes more than just a plot question. It's a question about whether the past can truly survive as the characters move forward. Another theme that echoes throughout Episode 8 is grief and legacy. Even though Susanna isn't physically there, her presence is undeniable. She lingers in the choices her sons make, in the way Belly reflects on love, and in the warmth of every sunset scene. Susanna represents unconditional love, the kind of love that shapes people even after they're gone. The finale subtly reminds us that Belly's relationship with both Conrad and Jeremiah is tied to Susanna's belief in love and family. Her absence isn't just felt, it's the invisible force guiding the story forward. In a way, every character's arc is a reflection of how they're coping with the hole she left behind. Belly's choice is not just about romance, but about finding the kind of love Susanna always wanted her to believe in. The show also weaves in the theme of self-discovery and independence. Belly's big decision works as a metaphor for her own growth. She isn't just torn between two brothers. She's torn between two versions of herself. One version clings to the comfort of her first love, the other embraces the unknown of something new. By choosing, she finally steps into her independence. Episode 8 treats this not as an ending, but as a beginning, her first true step into adulthood. It's a theme that resonates beyond the romance, because every viewer can relate to the moment when you stop being defined by others and finally define yourself. Symbolism is also found in small, intimate details, the lingering glances, the silences, between characters, the way light falls in certain scenes, all of these moments carry meaning. For instance, the contrast between daytime scenes filled with warmth and night scenes filled with tension mirrors the characters' emotional journeys. Daytime is when truths come out, when feelings are laid bare. Nighttime, on the other hand, represents doubt, conflict, and fear. The finale uses these subtle shifts in tone to amplify the emotional stakes without ever needing to spell them out. Even the idea of seasons shifting becomes symbolic. Summer is fleeting, and just as the characters are forced to face the end of their summers at Cousins, they must also face the end of their innocence. The promise of fall, with its responsibilities and changes, looms just beyond the horizon.